Good morning, Mr. Day. My name is Zaria Inglis.
I'm Zion Johnson.
Y yo soy Ángel Juárez Tenorio.
And welcome to
Are You Smarter Than a 10th Grader?
Good afternoon, faculty, staff, and students. Today, I'm here with my Uncle Rick. Would you like to say hello?
Hello, everybody.
Yes, I will be asking him a couple of questions to see if he's smarter than a 10th grader. All right, Uncle Rick, do you know what the telegraph is? What is that?
Oh, it's like a coding system. It's how they use to communicate.
Yes, that is correct. It is part of the electrical industry, and its purpose was to transmit messages from large distances. You got that one right. Congratulations. Do you know what the steamboat was?
Yes.
What is that?
Steamboat is one of the first means to travel on the water. They use like coal to move the ship.
Yes, congratulations. That is part of the transportation industry. And yes, it carried passengers and goods across bodies of water. So we have one last question for you today to truly determine if you're smarter than a 10th grader. Do you know what the Bessemer process is?
No.
Henry Bessemer in the steel industry, and its purpose, it used iron to create heat and produce steel without using fuel. That's very innovative. And this was important because it was an inexpensive process that allowed steel to be produced. The scale and speed of production was increased, therefore decreasing the requirements of labor to make steel. Now, steel, back then, it was expensive and it was in small quantities. So, this allowed for the mass production of steel as well as the growth of construction. That means steel frame construction in buildings and skyscrapers. See, it's not like the Three Little Pigs. Nothing's getting blown down. So, transportation. The bridges, like the Golden Gate Bridge. So we have, just machinery and manufacturing industries. So transportation and infrastructure became much stronger and lasted a lot longer than before. Thank you so much for your time, Uncle Rick.
I wish I would have knew about that.
Oh, yes. Well, now
I
you
made
know.
my house out of sticks.
The significance of the telegraph. It allowed for instant communication across vast distances and was the dominant form of communication. Technology was the fastest way to contact other people. So transportation and communication machinery developed and advanced rapidly throughout the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. In turn, they sparked both internal and external migrations during the time period, both of them. Oh yes. Internal migrations occur when people move from regions within. Opposing external migrations occur when people move from one country to another. Some transferred from rural areas to urban areas, while others transferred overseas from less developed to more developed countries. So people were driven by economic factors since manufacturing job opportunities became available in the city. So
Hi, today we have
Xavier.
and we're going to see if he's smarter than a 10th grader. Xavier, compare the industrialization efforts of the U.S. and Russia.
See, I studied this back in, back in college. So basically, see, the U.S. we had more. Ours was more. It was a quicker process. You know what I'm saying? And we focused more on creating things like like the cotton engine or something. You know what I'm saying? So which that helped make clothes. So that was like a big effort. On the U.S. part. I'm not that familiar with Russia though. But I'm pretty sure they had more to do with guns.
In the U.S., citizens had more freedom to do what they wanted and invent what they wanted, while in Russia, they like a state-driven, aristocratic, and feudal system, while opposed to the United States having the democratic and capitalistic system that was market-driven.
So basically, what I said.
Yes. But similarly, they both had the working class. They lived in horrid conditions that were unsafe, unsanitary,
Right.
and that were not good for the people. But Russia abolished serfdom due to them. They felt that serfdom was hindering them from improving as a society. So they turned to abolish it, and they did that to help improve their country's industrial, military, political strength, and much more within them.
Yeah, much more.
What was the difference of how Russia started industrializing versus the U.S.?
See, it started with factories. We really started we had big corporations Robert Barron and stuff. They pushed out their own products.
Industrialization began in the U.S. during the 17th century, specifically in 1793 by Samuel Slater. He was a British man who immigrated to the United States, specifically Rhode Island. With him leaving Britain, he also brought along his ideas. The factories, how industrialized Britain and Europe was, he brought those ideas and ideologies here. And so he brought the factories and industries to the U.S. Hence why the water-powered spring mill was the first in America to be made by him. And likewise, Francis Cabot Lowell and Paul Moody, who was his partner in this, they created the first integrated mill that performed every operation from cotton lint to finished clothes. Russia focused especially on railroads and heavy machinery. The Tsar Peter the Great established factories that manufactured coal, steel, iron, petroleum, cotton, and a whole bunch more. And he established shipyards to strengthen his military. And that had been proven to be successful in Russia, making it the second largest producer of petroleum and the fourth largest producer of steel, while the U.S. became the top producer of cotton, steel, iron, and much more. They had to overcome a lot of hardship and a lot of turmoil because they had a lot of factors that really debilitated them, like decimated populations, diminished herds of livestock, flooding, closed silver mines, which would provide them with economic resources. Correct. And so, international trade was shrinking and much more turmoil had occurred. So known as the viceroyalties of the Spanish America ultimately disbanded into 18 separate countries, and that constantly had conflict with each other one way or another. The social structure, it was split into different parts: the Peninsulares, the Spaniard-born Spanish, and then the Creoles, the European-born Spaniards. Mm-hmm. Then the Mestizos, the people mixed Native American. Then with the mulattoes, Native Americans, and then at the bottom of the list were slaves, ex-slaves. And some countries, such as like Argentina and Brazil, had more success than others, trying to strain more towards textiles, agriculture, and mining.
My name is Angel, and this is
Leah.
And today we're going to discuss socialism. So, Leah, do you know what socialism is?
Socialism is like kind of thing in countries, like kind of like democracy. People talk a lot of things, opinions and stuff. Right?
Would you like to elaborate?
No.
Do you know what capitalism is?
Yeah, capitalism is like so like in North Korea, like in North Korea, if you have a phone, that's everybody's phone. But like here, where nationalism, is our phone. You know what I'm saying?
What you said was wrong.
Oh, sounds like
Who would have thought? Socialism is a system where it prioritizes a collective ownership and shared resources of everything.
sounds good.
Yeah.
What about capitalism?
It's an economy where private entities control the factors of production.
Sounds
Do you know
like
what those are?
one. What?
Do you know what the factors of production are?
No. Factories that produce stuff.
So that's not quite right. As natural resources or capital. Capitalist ideologies include the use of child labor, like Zion over there, low wages, harsh working conditions, and income inequality. Additionally, people were concerned with the concentration of wealth in the hands of few, while many struggled to make a decent living. Opinions?
That sounds really sad.
For instance, William Cooper's testimony before the Sandler Committee in 1832 included descriptions of working for 16 hours, which began at the age of 10, while having a 40-minute lunch break. Would you like to work like that?
Yes.
What?
Oh.
40-minute lunch break?
You
got
got
work
like
like
oh,
that.
I was about to say.
Oh no, I would not like to work like that.
You get one break.
Mm.
I need an hour
Working
break.
conditions was no.
Do you know what the labor movements are?
Does labor sound like kids, right? Like, or working labor?
Do you know what a movement is?
Yeah, civilized movements and stuff like that.
So if we put those together,
Working movement.
So labor movements originated in Europe during the Industrial Revolution in the late 1800s and early 19th century. Wait, I meant 18th century, when agricultural and cottage industries were disappearing and were being replaced by machinery, and employees were forced to go to more industrial areas like factory towns, which caused a shortage of labor, of skilled labor. What do you think about that?
I think that's really rough. I don't think people should work in factories. That's a really dangerous job.
I'm saying, I was describing why these happened. Now I'm going to describe them. Workers sought to improve working conditions, fair wages, and the right to organize and bargain collectively. Specifically, the Luddites in England protested against the use of machinery which threatened their job. Imagine that.
Wow. I have my job there and I don't play about my money.
Crazy.
Hashtag don't play.
They would smash various machinery, sabotage factories, and engage in acts of violence against factory owners. Moreover, the Knights of Labor in the United States would organize workers across different industries to boycott and have demonstrations on how to put pressure on employers and demand better working conditions.
Yeah.
Hashtag New Life Movement.
More life.
Do you know who the Ottomans are?
The what?
The Ottomans?
The Ottomans? No.
Well, neither do I, so let's look this up.
What? That's a blooper, bro.
They were an empire that controlled
Oh, the Ottoman Empire.
Central Europe from 16th to early 18th century. Now, why does this have any relevance? Do you know why?
No.
Of course you don't. The Ottomans recognized their need to modernize, like anybody does. They need to modernize their industries, their infrastructure to keep up with changing global landscape, which was mainly Europe. They implemented reforms such as the Tanzimat reforms to modernize their legal and administrative systems. They also established factories and encouraged the adoption of Western technologies.
That's cool.
Despite this, the Ottomans faced challenges in fully embracing industrialization to do the various factors. What do you think that is?
Factors, you know, to do like hard tasks.
Well, I was like, what type of factors?
I'm not really sure.
This
I'm definitely
included
smarter than the fifth grade.
10th grade. I don't know about 10th grade. This included political instability and resistance to change. Now, on to the best part, the Qing Dynasty.
I like that.
Do you know what time period that was?
1950?
So we're not quite that far.
Okay.
A
1838.
couple years back.
1838.
1644 to 1912.
Oh, Dios?
It was an era noted in its initial prosperity and violent final years. It reacted to Europe's industrialization by being cautious, like a cat,
Not less.
and skeptical of Western influence.
Swag.
But eventually, they recognized their need to modernize their industries and military. Because American military guns, you know.
Qing Dynasty.
They sent their students and officials abroad to study Western technology and practices. They established modern factories, encouraged foreign trade, and implemented reforms to strengthen their economy. Despite this, you'll never guess what.
What?
The Qing Dynasty is internal conflicts.
Really? Wow, it sounds like it helped a lot.
They faced political challenges that hindered